Hello dear friends. So in today's session I'm starting a new series of JavaScript interview questions. I have chosen this JavaScript language because it is very popular and versatile language to develop the client side applications, and it is also a backbone of the various popular language like the Angular and the React JS. And nowadays it is also being used for the server side programming by using the Node.js, right? So let's get started. Let's check the first questions of this series. What are the different data types in the JavaScript? Okay, so let's jump into the code. I'm using this VS Code in order to write the different JavaScript files. Okay, and I will be using the Node.js to execute these JavaScript files. Okay, you can download this VS Code from the web browser. Okay, and also install the Node.js in your machine. Okay, and if you face any challenge or any issue, then please let me know in the comment section. I will help you out. Okay. So similar to the other languages, JavaScript also provides the various data types. So that includes the string, numbers, the big int, boolean, symbol, and null, right? So any other language, we can define this. Let is a way to define the variable, right? So here I am defining this name and assigning this John value to the name. Okay, and it will be considered as a string. Another thing, like, there is no need to define a specific data type in the JavaScript. It will automatically interpret the correct data type internally, right? So here we are not defining any data type, but it will be considered as a string, right? In the second line, we are defining a number and assigning this 30 to the age variable, correct? And this is big number. Okay, and there is no specific data type for the like short values, okay, and the long values, right, as we defined in the Java and other languages, right? So if we are defining a large number, so that will be considered as a big int. Okay, and in the next line I am defining a boolean variable. Okay, is active equal to true. If we are assigning a true and false value, so that will be considered as a boolean variable, right? So in the next line, I have created a symbol. Okay, so what is the symbol in the JavaScript? Actually, symbol, we can consider this symbol as an wrapper. Okay, as an wrapper of any object or the property of any object, right? So suppose like you must be observed that like there are some needs where we define the multiple IDs in a same file, right? So this is a way to create a wrapper on top of that ID in order to define the unique properties keys. Okay. So suppose let me create one more symbol here with the same ID. Okay, and I'm naming it as a IDs, and let me compare. So console, first of all, let me like, what is this console.log, right? So this is the statement by which we can log any message or we can print any message to the console, right? In the JavaScript, we can use this console.log statement, right? And now let me compare these symbols and let's see like what will happen. I'm using this strict equality operator. I will tell you like what is the purpose of this equality operator in next question. Let me run this JavaScript file. So you can check the output in the console. It is returning false. When I am comparing this IDs, right? And I have created the same symbol with this ID only, right? But even it is returning false. Okay. So this is a way to create a unique properties keys, okay, in order to avoid the collision between the different properties of any object, right? And in the next line, I'm defining a user variable, okay, and I have not assigned any value to this user of variable, okay, so it will be considered as a undefined. Let me print this value, okay. So let's see like what it will print. It is printing undefined, correct? So if we are not assigning any value to any variable, okay, so it will be considered as a undefined, okay. And the next, this is like obvious, we are assigning null to any object, right? We can also assign null to any variable in the JavaScript also, okay. So apart from these data types, there are other data types are also available in the JavaScript, like those are like the arrays, okay, and the JSON objects, okay. And this is like all about the data types of the JavaScript, okay. Let's check the next question now. What is hosting in JavaScript? Okay, so this is very specific feature which is only available in the JavaScript, okay. So let's see like what is this. So in this file you can check, first of all I'm printing this variable, right, a, passing this variable in this console.log, okay, to print out the value of this variable. Then I'm defining this variable, okay, variable a, and assigning this 5 value, okay. So ideally what should it return, because I am assigning the value and created this value after this print statement, okay, after this console.log statement, okay. So according to other languages it should return a undefined, right, because till this time we have not defined this variable, correct? And in the next line, let me comment out this line to explain you. And the next I am defining this function, say hello function, correct, and printing the value of this variable, right? And after that I'm calling this function, okay. So if it should work fine, right, because first of all I'm defining this function and then calling this function, correct? So first of all let's run this JavaScript file and let's see like what it is printing, okay. Let me change the name of the file, hosting, correct. So it is printing undefined and hello 5, right? That is absolutely correct, okay, because first of all we have defined this function and then calling this function, right? Suppose I'm commenting out this line, okay, and if I'm calling this function before defining this function, right, I called this function say hello here, okay, and then define this function after this statement. Let's see like what will happen in this case. You can check the output in the console. It is also working fine now, okay, surprisingly, right? It's ideally it should not work, right? But in the JavaScript we can call any function before define any function, right? So it only works in case of the JavaScript only. So that is called a hosting, okay. So let's check the next question now. What are the closures in JavaScript? Okay, let's check like what are the closures. Closures, okay. So created this function outer function, okay, check the code, and then created this variable count, okay, and inside this function there is another function, inner function, correct, return function, and from this inner function I'm incrementing this value of this count variable, correct. So according to other languages, okay, this we ideally we should be able to access this count variable, and see so in the JavaScript we can also access any variable which is defined outside of this function, right? So that is called as a closures. Okay, so let's run this JavaScript file. It's printing 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we can define or we can access any variable. Okay, access any variable from inner functions, okay, which is defined outside of that particular function. Okay, so that is called a closures in the JavaScript. Okay, it also happens in the other languages, correct? So let's check the next question now. Difference between the equals, the double equal and the triple equal operator. Okay, let's see like what are these operators. So in the JavaScript, there are two equals operator. Okay, let me comment these lines. And uncomment these lines. Okay. So in JavaScript, double equal operator, that is called a loose equality operator. Okay. And let's check this line, the console.log. If I'm comparing 5, this 5, and which is like enclosed with the quotes, right? So ideally, it should not return true, right? Because this is like, if I consider a Java language, right? So it will consider as a string and it will consider as a number, correct? So it should not return like true. Okay, it should return false. But in the JavaScript, if I am using this loose equality operator, okay, so it will return true. Okay, similar to uh, the and also for this boolean value, right? If I'm comparing 0 with the false, right? Ideally, it should not return true, but it will return true if I'm using the loose equality operator, right? So and in the next line, what I'm comparing this null with the undefined. Okay, so it should also return false, but in the JavaScript, it will return a true. Okay, and in the next line, what I'm comparing the blank string with the 0, right? And it should also return the false, but it will return as a true in the JavaScript. Okay, so let's run this JavaScript file. Oh, name is wrong. File name. So you can check the output in the console. All these statements are returning true, but ideally they should return false, correct? So this is the loose equality operator which is available in the JavaScript file. Okay, so let me comment out these line and uncomment these lines. So another equality operator which is available in the JavaScript, that is called a strict equality operator. Okay, where we can have the 3 equals operator, right? Like this. So here I'm comparing the 5 with this 5 which is enclosed with the quotes. Okay, so it will return ideally. Okay, it should, what it should return? Okay, it should return false. Okay, so it will return false only. Okay, because we are using the strict equality operator. 0 equal to false, it should also return false. Okay, null, if we are comparing null with the undefined, then it should return false, and the 10 with the 10. Okay, if I'm comparing the 10 which is enclosed with the codes and similar value, okay, then it should return true. Okay, so this is the actual equality operator which we use in the other languages, right? So the in the JavaScript, we should always use this strict equality operator. Let me run this JavaScript file. So you can check the output. It is returning false, 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 and true. Sorry. So this is the actual equality operator which is available in the JavaScript. Okay, we should avoid to use the loose equality operator in the JavaScript when we are comparing any objects and the values, right? Otherwise, we can get the uncertain results. And the third one, inequality operator. Okay, so similar to the equality operator, there is another inequality operator which is also a like mostly used operator in any language, right? So there are two types of inequality operators are available in the JavaScript. Okay, similar to equality operator. Here we are comparing 10 with the 10 which is enclosed with the quotes. Okay, so it is returning false. It will return false. Okay, but ideally it should return true, right? Because the 10, we are comparing 10 with the 10 which is enclosed with the quotes, or we can consider it as a string, right? So it should return true, but it will return false. Okay, and in the next line, if we are comparing the 10 with the 10 which is enclosed with the quotes, okay, and using this inequality operator where we have the double equal sign, right? Double equals, if we are using double equals, okay, then it will return true. Okay, so ideally we should use this inequality operator only when we write any program or any code, correct? So let's run this JavaScript file once again. So you can check it is returning false and true. Okay, so these are the equals operator, equality operator, which is available in the JavaScript. Okay, let's check the next question now. So in the next question, we have to explain the this keyword in the JavaScript, right? So let's see like what is the purpose of this keyword. So I have written this code uh, where I kept like created one object. Okay, inside this object we kept this field John, and there is a function, right? So basically this operator is referred to the current execution context. Okay, current execution context means like the object, it will refer to the object who is executing that particular function or the code, right? So you can check here in this function. Okay, I'm referring this name by this operator, right? Because this name, we kept this name in this object. Okay, so it is like referring to the current object, this object. This operator refers to this object. Okay, that's why we can access this name field by this operator, right? So let me run this JavaScript file. So you can check the output in the console. It is printing the John, right? So let's check the next question now. So in the next question, we have to explain the difference. Like we have to explain the difference between the var, let, and the constant. Okay, so these are the variable types. Okay, so let's see like what is the difference in between these variables. So I have created this code snippet or the code block in order to explain the differences between these variable types. Okay, so you can check this if block where we are passing true. Okay, so all these statement will be executed, and we have created three variables. First is created by the var keyword, second by let, and the third one is const. Okay, let's see what will happen like if we will try to access these variables outside this if block. Okay, let me run this file. So you can check like we can access this x variable which is defined by the var keyword outside the if block, and let's check like what will happen in case of the y which is defined by using the let keyword. It is giving us a error, right? So you can check y is not defined. It is giving us a error, y is not defined. Okay, so it means that like the variable which is being defined by this let keyword, the scope of this variable is limited to this if block only. Okay, we cannot access outside this if block. Okay, let's see in case of the const keyword. In case of the variable which is defined by the const keyword, that is also giving us error, right? So scope of this variable is also limited to that particular block only. Okay, so what we find out, like the variable, like it has the global scope, and the variable which are being defined by the let and the const keyword, okay, the scope of these variables are limited to that particular block or the function, correct? And what is the difference between the let and const? Okay, and if I'll move this variable, okay, outside this if block, then all these variable will be accessible. Let's run this JavaScript file again. You can check it is printing 1 2 3, right? So, and what will happen, like if we will try to change the value of this const variable, because const is like a way to define the constant, right? So it should not allow to change the value. Let's see like what will happen if I'll change the value of this z variable to some other value. It is giving us error, right? When we are assigning 5 to the z, at that time it is giving us error, right? So this is like the const keyword is used to define the constant, and scope of this const keyword is limited to that particular block. Okay, so these are the like basic differences between these variable types. Let's check the next question now. In the next question, what is the event loop in JavaScript? So event loop in the JavaScript is a way to enable the asynchronous programming, right? Actually, the JavaScript is a single threaded programming language by nature. Okay, so event loop enables the asynchronous programming by which we can manage and execute the different tasks. Okay, and we can create the different types by using the callbacks and the promises in the JavaScript. Okay, so what is callback? Basically the callbacks are like we can pass any function as an argument to another function, okay, and they will be executed after the execution of that particular function, right? So, and I will also explain like what is the promises in the JavaScript during my next question. Okay, so let's see like one of the callback in order to understand this like the event looping. So I have created this code snippet. Okay, we are printing this start string and the end string, and inside this set timeout, this is a one of the callback. Okay, so you can check here we are passing one function through this lambda expression, right? And here inside this function we are simply printing this callback, right? And inside here we are passing some time interval. Okay, so this callback this callback will be executed as a part of another task, right? So let's see, let's run this JavaScript file and let's see like what will happen. So you can check the output in the console. First of all it prints start, then print end, and after that callback, right? So this this console, this statement and this statement, these are the part of main thread, and this the whatever we are writing by using this set timeout, that is being executed as a part of another thread. Okay, so that's why it is printing, it prints at the last, right? And like let's see like what will happen if I increase the time here, and let's check the output now. So you must be observed that like it prints start ends, and it takes some time to print this callback, right? So by using this set timeout, we can define the callbacks in the JavaScript, right? So that's all for this session. Okay, I will cover like rest of the question during my next sessions. Okay, thank you for watching this session.